Welcome everyone to iTechTriad Live. Today we've got an interesting show for you guys. We're going to be talking HTC M8. Had a few leaks on that. Nexus tablet from HTC, an HTC smartwatch, and you notice I keep saying HTC because they're all over the news. We're going to be talking Galaxy Gear 2, also Sony, and of course Apple versus Android apps. And we're going to be answering some questions from you listeners / viewers as well. So I've got Ben and Andrew with me. How you guys doing today?
Wonderful.
You sound sad. Ben, how are you doing?
Doing good, just waiting for the snow.
I know, it's sad.
Waiting for the snow.
And how does that make you feel? Ben, how
Lost.
and I'm also / your therapist and host for the day. Yes, I can't wait for the snow. I'm looking forward to it. I hope we get the 10 inches we're supposed to, but our meteorologists are horrible here in North Carolina. No, I don't mean anything rude to any meteorologists who might be listening.
It's just a general thing.
Yeah, they always lie. It just Anyway, let's get right into our news. So, let's talk Android, and specifically HTC, because they're all over in the news for us today. Verizon HTC One getting KitKat soon. Gentlemen, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
Took them long enough.
Which I'm actually surprised in a way. Well, of course they did miss the deadline, but
well, no, they did not. They did not miss their 90-day deadline.
they didn't. HTC
They had it to the carriers within 90 days. I think it was like 80-something days. But of course, the carriers are going to delay it. Sprint had it last week, and now Verizon's going to get it soon.
Yes, but they didn't get it to consumers' hands. They probably, I guess, at least as long as it's not like Samsung. Samsung loves to just take forever to update the devices, which they're getting better with. But it's good to see that HTC is on top of that, and now we will see KitKat soon. Not much there. Now let's talk about the HTC M8, HTC One 2. We're referring to it as, of course, M8, as we've seen throughout the leaks. Of course, today on our rundown, we were going to talk about dual camera, and we still will. But of course, we did see leaked pictures today showing the front and back of the device. I don't know if you guys got to see it because this leak was just probably a few hours ago. Did you guys get to see the picture of the leak?
No, not yet.
Yeah, I actually got it pulled up. I got it pulled up right now. It looks very nice.
It does. I like the soft keys, which is
Look at that
very
first
nice.
thing that comes up in Google.
Yeah.
HTC M8 leaks. You know, it's extremely popular right now, so that's probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm liking, of course, now that we're gonna have soft keys. I hope, and I've mentioned this before, and Ben, I know you feel the same way. The button layout is moved.
Please, HTC.
The charger
is
port.
not listening to this.
Yes, the charger port does not need to be the bottom right corner. I don't know if, because I mean, for OCD people, it will bug you because it should be in the middle of the device, not the right corner. And then, of course, like the lock button is on the top left, which I'd like to see that on the top right and move your.
I want to see it on the side.
Or the side would be nice as well. Which we're gonna have a bigger display on this, right? We're looking at probably 5.0 on this one.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be an even 5. I wouldn't be shocked if it was anything bigger, but I can't see them doing that. Maybe they might do like a G2 type thing and make it 5.2 inches and then just have like no bezel. But if this picture is what it's gonna be, then it's probably 5 inches.
Yeah. So and if they do go with the 5 inches, and we might see something as it comes to the actual button layout switching and then having the lock on the side of the device, which would be nice to see as well. Now, how about the camera? We're looking at dual cameras on that, which was kind of interesting to see. What was your thoughts on it?
I don't know. I'm interested in it. I don't know what it's going to bring. I mean, I've heard that it's going to bring, extra dynamic range, I think I heard, to it. It's just going to make it an overall better shot. I just don't know how 2 cameras is going to do that.
Yeah. I know lately a big thing is a lot of people are talking about like camera specs, megapixels, how, what they have to offer. And that's another thing. I think HTC is really going for a nicer camera than a lot of the phones that have been coming out. But still, it's getting up there, and cameras are really improving. So especially with I think it was what Nokia did with their their phone with the huge camera in the back. I think it was them. I can't
Yeah, the
Yeah,
remember.
1020.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
1020. What was it, like some ridiculous 40
It was
something?
41 megapixels with a true camera flash and hardware zoom. I think it had optical image stabilization. It was basically a DSLR in your phone.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's what HTC is trying to go for, but not as big a step.
Yeah. Wait, I'm just interested. I'm interested to see will they go basically. I mean, I would have liked to seen a different hardware design because it looks, of course, like the HTC One. But I
But
guess it kind of
it was by no means an ugly phone. That was a beautiful.
no, it's a beautiful phone. I would like to see what HTC's got up their sleeve. And I guess I mean that's just me. Again, I'm a hardware freak. I just love beautiful hardware. So when there's change, I'm accepting of it, especially when it's beautiful. Like if HTC took the M8 and made it plastic, I'd be bashing them right now. But it's kind of one of those things. I'm just split between the two. Now, how about carriers at launch? We're seeing Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. You
And
guys are
not
gonna have
Sprint.
Oh man,
I'm
Sprint.
happy to see it's on Verizon at launch this time. Last time it took them, it took them months to get it on
Yeah,
Verizon.
I think so.
So
But
I'm glad to see that Verizon's gonna get it first this time, supposedly.
yeah, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile.
That'll
Those
be
are
nice.
those are the first choices, I guess,
Which
for the
I'm
HTC.
I'm just it's just not fair, Sprint. Yeah. See, but then I can kind of see because of course we had that huge issue with the Nexus 5 at Sprint, and Ben, you were there with me when that happened.
Bad
Sprint just
memories.
oh yeah, that was a good 5 hours in the store, and it's just the fact
That would have been nice.
oh, that would have been nice. Yeah, 5 hours would have been nice. Sprint, I got nothing to say about Sprint. Let's just leave it there. Now, kind of going back to the camera, we're actually going M8 Mini, talking about cameras again. 13 megapixel camera on that?
The only way I see this being real, and this actually, I kind of had an idea about why the dual cameras are on the HTC M8. I think with the M8, they're going to keep that ultra pixel camera like they have on the current HTC one, which takes very nice shots with low megapixels.
Mhm.
I think that top one is going to be a regular ultra pixel camera. It'll probably be like 4 or 8 megapixels. I think the second one is going to be the regular camera. It'll be like a 13, 15, something like that megapixel camera.
Mhm.
And then
Which
the
that's
Mini will take a 13 megapixel camera, which would be actually really good.
and that's not bad at all. 13 megapixel camera.
That's
Excuse me to,
awesome.
I mean, forgive me, any iPhone listeners, but iPhone 5S has an 8 megapixel camera still. Well, it's
Mhm.
good to
How
see,
mu-
of
how
course.
much? Sorry. How
No,
big
go
is
ahead.
the HTC Mini? You said in size.
The current HTC One Mini is 4.3 inches,
Okay.
and it has really low specs. It's a dual core Snapdragon 400, a 2 megapixel ultra pixel camera.
Yeah.
It still has, the good speakers. It's still got a great display, even though it's 720p.
Hmm.
It's just, it's a smaller, less expensive version of the HTC One. The new one is supposed to have a 4.5-inch, still 720p display, which is still not bad,
Mhm.
and then a quad-core Snapdragon 400, kind of like what's in the Moto G. I mean, basically, it's going to look like a Moto G with a really good camera setup.
Yeah, and that's impressive for such a device, I guess
Yeah,
you could
and
say.
hopefully they'll keep the price down.
Yeah.
Which that's what I kind of want to mention, kind of steering a little bit off track here, but I would like to see HTC kind of pull a Motorola in a way as lower cost devices.
Hmm.
I would like to see HTC take a crack at it because I mean, if you really look at it, rumors have been going around HTC building the next Nexus device. That every time there's a rumor for Nexus 5, uh, before we were seeing HTC might be making this device, so there always seems to be in the running to build Nexus devices. So I would kind of like to see them take a crack at a lower price market
With
with
their own software and setup and everything, because they really do have very good software.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Sense was bearable compared to TouchWiz, which I'm kind of wanting to go back to test the new Sense when it does release along with the M8 and that's another thing. Do you guys think we're gonna see the name M8 or could
I
we
think
just see
I think they might just keep the HTC One branding.
mhm, call it the
Because
2014 model maybe?
I mean, it looks almost the same. The only difference really is the specs, the on-screen buttons, and the camera.
Hmm.
Other
Yeah.
than that, the design is almost identical.
Yeah, because for people who don't know technology or don't know the HTC One, if they called it the HTC One 2, people would be saying, "I've got the HTC One 12."
Yeah.
So it's I could see them maybe going HTC One 2014 model, kind of like what Google did with the Nexus 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so because you know, the HTC One has the same model number in that leaked photograph of the form showing which companies it'll be on for cellular companies
Hmm.
like Sprint and no, sorry, not Sprint, but Verizon and AT&T. I think the HTC One has the model number OP6B. And that's the exact model number for the HTC M8.
Hmm.
So it might just go, like you said, with the same branding to HTC One 2 or, you know, something like that along those lines.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see. Now, kind of going back again with the HTC and Nexus tablet from HTC. What do you guys think about that?
I would love to see that.
I personally would also. Now, my thing is, would we see an aluminum body
No.
on, or you don't think we'd see that? You think we'd see more of a
If you think about it,
plastic?
how expensive the HTC One already is with the aluminum body, it's one of the more
Yeah.
expensive phones out there.
Hmm.
Take that, put it on a 10-inch tablet made of complete aluminum. That's gonna be really expensive. That's just like
Yeah.
there would be no point making it
Is
putting Nexus on that because it would
is
be
the Samsung Note
$600.
Pro 12.2 plastic?
Did you seriously ask if Samsung made an aluminum product there for a
No,
second?
plastic.
No,
Plastic.
They
plastic.
always make everything they make is plastic.
Okay, and that thing
It does
is
cost a lot.
$800, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I
It's
could
64
see.
gig is a $100 device.
Yeah, I mean,
So I mean,
look at the iPad.
yeah,
iPad Air is
tablets are getting up
$499.
yeah. I guess we'll have to see what happens. I wouldn't imagine it being made of aluminum. I would say it's probably gonna be made out of the soft touch plastic
That we see.
on the other Nexus
Yeah.
devices.
Hmm.
Man, and
It'll be interesting to see.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice plastic too. I mean, it's not like a cheap. It feels good. It's a feel good plastic, but you know, hopefully we'll see that.
Plastic.
Whatever we see, I'm sure HTC is definitely has something good in mind. You know,
Yeah,
I'm excited for
HTC
that.
they need to kind of and HTC they're like I don't know what it is with HTC. It's like the HTC One awesome device, but that's it. So HTC really needs to get more going for them. I don't think the HTC One can carry that entire company into the future. They've got to keep coming with something, and that's kind of the next thing we can kind of talk about is an HTC smartwatch. 'Cause I was going to say, with the HTC One, I feel they need something else, and wearables might be that something else that they need.
Yeah.
Now, what do you two think about that as it comes to HTC and wearables?
I would love to see a smartwatch from HTC because they would probably make it out of aluminum, which would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Yeah.
want to see it with the cost low. I would never spend more than $200 on a smartwatch, which is why I want the Pebble so bad.
Mm-hmm. And why we bash the gear, because I'm the same way as well. And we've had this discussion before here on the podcast with waterproofing and things like that. So it's going to be interesting as it comes to wearables with HTC, what they the extra things that they put out into the market other than the HTC One. Because,
Yeah,
like I said before, it's not going to be able to carry that company completely.
Yeah, we're definitely getting into the 2014. I think this year particularly will be a lot about wearables.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I just want to see. I know HTC, they're probably making that. I want to know what the iWatch will be like. I have no idea really. But is anyone else coming with something that's kind of like Google Glass, or is it just like all smartwatches? Do you know?
Samsung's working on something, right?
Samsung was working on something called Galaxy Glass, and
Yeah.
if the leaks, and I guess there were patents that they filed or something. I don't know I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was not. It looked very, very ugly. You couldn't remove the lenses like on Google Glass. There's no lens or glass in front of you. There's just the little prism that has
Yeah.
the display in it. That's
Mhm.
it. If you want to attach glasses, now you can. But
Mhm.
it looked like on the Galaxy glasses that they would be permanently there.
Mhm.
Yeah, they look. I think I'm looking at one right now. It looks like a leak. It looks like goggles more than anything.
Yeah.
It better not be
So
goggles. I don't. I'm not this type of person, but I would personally write a complaint to Samsung. They better not even. No.
Yeah,
Just
I
I don't
want to
think
see
they will,
them.
but
I don't want to see them attempt a Galaxy Glass or Galaxy goggles or whatever, because
yeah, Galaxy
one, it
Glass.
would have terrible battery life,
hmm
and two, it would have like a gigantic camera lens where your eye goes.
And it would be touch whiz in your
It would
face.
be touch whiz.
It would be literally touch whiz in your face. That would just. Oh man, no, 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 no. Just no. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the same thing. It looks like lawn mowing goggles.
Yeah, that's,
That's exactly what it looks like. It's
Yeah.
lawn mowing goggles. If Samsung even attempts that, which I'd hope they're smarter, and I think they are smarter than that.
I think they are, because I mean their products, they're good products.
hmm
I don't think the software is where it needs to be. It needs an improvement, but their
hmm
hardware is definitely really good.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be interesting to see. Now, since we're talking about wearables, Galaxy Gear 2.
two.
That was
Will
way too fast.
you think I'm the same way? It's
That
like,
was like what? That was less than 6 months.
and it's not confirmed yet, but they're saying most likely we're going to see it with the S5.
If they end up releasing a new Galaxy Gear with every major product, they're just going to saturate the market, which they already do with their phones and tablets.
Thank you. Amen. Preach
But
it.
the only thing is, if they keep improving it every time, that's great. But if they get something good at one point, I don't want to see them replace it 6 months later.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I think they really need to focus on the fact of, first off, they can work on the software with the current Galaxy Gear.
Yeah.
Is like, why are you going to come out 6 months later?
Maybe this one will be waterproof.
Maybe they'll call it the
Maybe it won't
Galaxy
have an
Gear
ugly
Active.
camera. Maybe it won't have an ugly camera bump.
It's just
Yeah.
me personally. Some of the rumors is the fact that we might see a bendable display with the Galaxy Gear 2,
Yeah.
which that would be nice. Just saying that would be nice. Sorry, hit my mic there. It would be nice to see, but I just, like you were saying, Ben, they don't need to saturate the market. It's like the fact of this is something that's just beginning with the wearables and the smartwatches.
hmm
And if you come out with 50 of them, it's like by the time these big companies such as Apple and Google, it's going to be like Samsung's already going to have 50 Galaxy Gears. That's like, what in the world? I really feel it's something, and I've mentioned this again before in previous podcasts, and Ryan Negri from Negri Electronics, he mentioned this in a podcast with Pocket Now. He said, I'm waiting on Apple to make a smartwatch, not for the fact of he likes Apple, but the fact of they're a trendsetter.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what I need. That's the type of company that needs to come in. Apple, Google, these trendsetters need to come in and make a smartwatch, and that's when you're going to really see it take off in the market. But
Yeah,
if
'cause
Samsung
they-
keeps doing what they're doing, we're in trouble.
It's going to kill off the smartwatch before it even starts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the iWatch, that has been a rumor for so long.
Years.
You know,
and
I mean, I think ever since the rumor started, Apple really has been working on it, and I think they're just trying to get it to that perfect condition where they can release it and no one will get mad at it. Like something that will, live up to, how much people have been waiting for it. So, I mean, I am excited about the smartwatch.
Okay, just on a side note, this is something I wonder sometimes. I wonder sometimes the companies like Apple and Google are sitting in a room and one day they pull up a news feed and they say, well, it looks like the news media says we're building an smartwatch. Bill, what do you think about that? hey, we should make a smartwatch. And it's like sometimes I wonder though because it's like these rumors have been going around for so long. Of course, there's a lot of development that takes place, but I wonder sometimes. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that there could be a chance these companies
I
just
mean,
look at the
these
rumors?
companies, they build off of their, their buyers. They build off of what the people want sometimes, and that's where they get their feedback. So they're always trying to improve. They probably do that. But
Flip
Yeah.
it there.
like you said, I wouldn't imagine that's false. I think they probably do that.
That
So
would be hilarious if they
I
do.
would say they definitely do actually take people's ideas and run with them.
Samsung.
Well, according to them, everybody steals their ideas, but I'm not going to start on that yet.
Not dropping names though. Samsung. Continue though.
But yeah, I could see like I would say Nokia. They kept seeing everybody saying, "Oh, we want an Android phone," and now it looks like they might be releasing an
yeah.
Android phone.
Exactly. Yes. Here, Nokia Android phone releasing soon. What do you guys think?
Well, yeah, I want to see them do it. I'd rather them take like an existing Windows phone, like the 1020 or the 928 or something like that, one of their nicer phones, maybe even the 520, and put not stock Android on it, but just Android on it. Doesn't matter what kind. Put the Google Play Store on it.
Yeah.
Sell
Yeah,
it
put the
at
Google Play Store on it.
yeah, and I mean if they took the 520, kept it at it sells for $59 on Amazon right now,
That's not bad
which
at
is
all.
impressive. And it's actually a really nice phone.
That's
It
a
has
video game.
it has incredibly nice
$59.
yeah, it has incredibly good camera software. It's got a fairly decent 5 megapixel camera. It's a really nice phone,
Mm-hmm.
and it's $59.
Which is not bad.
Think about it, the cheapest good Android phone is the Moto G, and it's $179.
Mm-hmm.
It would be really nice if Nokia could take their 520, put Android on it, get the Google Play Store on it, and sell it for $79.
That would be amazing, and
Yeah.
that would actually, I think that would sell very good. So I guess
It would, which I
MWC will
hope is
tell us a
yeah.
lot.
I hope that's what we see from the Nokia Normandy, but we're probably not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're supposed to have a software it's based Android, but it's actually
It's
quote unquote forked, meaning
Yeah.
it's kind of like Samsung was doing, but not really. It's their version of Android. They're putting it looks like when I first looked at it, I actually thought it was a Windows phone. The
Mhm.
leaks, they look like it's a it's got those window blocks on the home screen, where there's apps and then it kind of changes. It looks like a Windows phone, but it's Android. They have their own version of the Google Play Store. It's I forget what it's called, but it has the same apps and stuff, but it isn't exactly the Google Play Store. So we just have to wait and see what it'll be like.
Yeah. I would probably best compare what I think the Normandy is going to be like. I think it's going to be completely forked Android. It's not going to look at all like Android does. It's not going to have Google Play. It's going to have a regular application store designed by Nokia.
Boy.
I think it's going to be like the Amazon Kindle. I don't know if you guys have ever used an Amazon Kindle. It doesn't have access to the Google Play Store. It doesn't really look like Android, but it sells really well because the interface is pretty easy to learn.
Mhm.
It's got a very, it's overall it's just a very easy to learn system. I would say if Nokia can release this at a low enough cost, if they sold this phone, it runs Android, it looks like it'll have dual SIM. If they sold it for like $59, I would buy one just to say I have a $59 Android phone. That
Just-
someone will figure out how to put signage and mod or paranoid
That's what I was
Android or
about to
something on
say.
it.
Yes, which that would be very nice because then all of a sudden we're talking a whole different ball game
Mm-hmm.
as it comes to that. I'm trying to get us to our main topic real quick though. We're gonna kind of close it up here with Android, Windows. And now I kind of want to talk about Sony so much as selling off their PC lineup. Gentlemen,
So we're gonna
Yeah.
throw that
what do
over
you
to
have to say
Andrew.
about that?
'Cause he knows the
All
most
right.
about that.
Yeah. Well, this is what I learned when I was researching it. What Sony did was they sold their PC line to a company called JIP, and it's a newer company. So they're gonna start working on the new, not new, but the rest of the Vio line. Also, I
Mhm.
learned in official statement from Sony, they also, I think, they were going to turn away from their TVs as well. So, or reform it at least. So what they're doing is they're taking all their attention away from those things, the computers, Sony Vio, and their TVs, and they're really focusing on their mobile devices. I didn't learn anything about the PlayStation line, the PS, PlayStations at all. I didn't learn anything about those. The demand is so high for those, it'll probably stay the same. But definitely a big thing is Sony focusing on their phones. And like you were saying earlier, Ben, we were talking about how nice the Sony phones already are. And we're kind of anxious to see what they will be like. I'm excited to see what kind of Android it has on it. How well they do when you focus on it. That's a big thing too, is your developers and your engineers, when they all come together and they're all focusing most of their attention on one thing. All these companies, when they do this, it seems like their company like just shoots off with their mobile devices. So I mean, I think it's a good call for Sony. I liked their Vio line, honestly, personally, and their TVs I did like too, but
Mhm.
that's their decision. I guess they're trying. They definitely have. It was I think it was because of their stocks and how much they wanted
Sony.
to make. They didn't exactly make as much as they wanted to, so that was their decision to kind of toss that out for now and kind of focus on their phones. And that also gives JIP a chance to kind of take care of that and focus their attention on that individually. When you have all these companies do that, that's when they all kind of personalize and specialize in one thing, so they can definitely blow other companies out of the park. So, this is another exciting thing that we would like to see.
And I was gonna say I'm looking forward to it because of the fact of that I feel Sony is going to really kind of change the market in hardware as it comes to Android because they are amazing on their hardware. From their phones, the Vio lineup looked beautiful looking laptops. Personally, never used them, but I did have an appreciation for the hardware itself, and the fact of also the PlayStation. That was a beautifully designed console.
Yeah.
Yes, it kind of looked like an eraser, but Sony really they're good with hardware. Now I haven't used their skin of Android, but I'm looking forward to what they will bring to the market as it comes to hardware with Android devices.
Yeah, and even software wise, they are one of the. I would compare it to Sense. It's very stock like. It's not exactly what stock is. It's not as clean as stock is, but overall, it's a very nice, very clean interface, at least in my opinion. And it runs extremely smooth.
Yeah, it did. I remember using actually now I remember using it T-Mobile store. And see, I'm more the type I was again looking at the hardware. I'm just like, what a beautiful phone. But just seeing I think between Sony and their hardware, you also have HTC and their hardware. I think it's going to be interesting to see what Sony does to kind of change the game. It's sad seeing the Vio lineup go
Yeah.
again because good computers. And I guess only the future can tell, whether that was a good move for Sony or whether it wasn't a good move. So, but that's going to be it for computers. Now let's move on to our main topic. We're going to actually kind of focus in on this for the rest of the podcast, and that is actually, you know what? Before we go into our main topic, Ben, real quick, let's uh, let's talk about Ask iTechTriad. Usually we do that on the channel, but any questions that we've gotten from our listeners?
Well, let's do like two or three here.
Pull them up
The
and
first one we want to do is, let's see here. I'm going through the list I have here. Here's a good one. This Alex, you and me can take care of this one because we've both had some good experience with CyanogenMod.
mhm.
What are some useful features I can use in CyanogenMod? And that is asked by Jose.
Useful features from CyanogenMod. Trying to think what useful features I have used.
Well, I'll take mine first because I've been using it a lot more lately,
Yeah.
especially their features built in.
Hmm.
The first main feature that I absolutely love built into CyanogenMod is the fact that root access is built in.
Hmm.
You don't have to go through any extra steps to get root access. Once you have CyanogenMod installed, you have root access on the phone, which is great. Use apps like Titanium Backup, stuff like that.
Hmm.
One of my favorite actual features from CyanogenMod is called Profiles. What it does is it allows you to trigger actions when you leave a Wi-Fi network or connect to something with Bluetooth. You can, turn on Bluetooth, turn on Wi-Fi, turn off mobile data, stuff like that. You can just trigger certain actions just without doing anything. If I disconnect from my Wi-Fi, it's going to turn on my data, it's going to turn on my Bluetooth, it's going to connect to my headset, and it might open like Google Play Music or something,
Hmm.
which is just a very nice feature, at least in my opinion.
For
You got
me,
anything?
yeah, I haven't really gotten too much into the features. I think the best thing that I love about CyanogenMod, of course, is the fact of that it gets your device pretty much to stock Android. But one thing I'm really loving, and Ben, you and I, we saw this when we went over to your house and you rooted the HTC One for me, was the CyanogenMod installer. I really wish
Hmm.
that would have caught on in the Google Play Store because that is just a brilliant tool.
Well, it's still available.
It's
It's
still
not like
still
it's gone.
available.
The only reason it's not in the Google Play Store is because the Google actually had them take it out because of the reason that in the Google Play Store policy there's some rule in there. I don't know exactly where in there, but basically it says if your app encourages users to void their warranties,
Hmm.
it can't be in the Play Store. So obviously, nothing really encourages you to avoid your warranty more than rooting it,
Hmm.
unlocking the bootloader, and installing CyanogenMod.
Yeah, exactly. Which it kind of stinks in that case, but I'm still glad it's around, which is great, and it's good that they keep updating it. And I think that's one of the best things that's come out of CyanogenMod. It's just such a useful tool. That's something I'm always going to be using. And that's a smart team they've got over at CyanogenMod. They're moving at 1,000 miles an hour, and it's good to see them definitely grow. Now, what's the next question, Ben?
All right, here, let's see another one. Looking around here. Here's one I've wanted to answer for a while. What web hosting service do you use for your website?
Definitely not
So,
webs.com. I'm just
yeah,
saying that now.
if you want to host a website, do not use webs.com. We use Squarespace for ours. It's really nice service. It's relatively cheap. Very easy to use,
Good
Extremely
editing.
easy to
and
post
I mean,
articles on. Yeah.
Yeah, and the editor's
yeah,
great.
it's the
Yep.
editor is awesome. Not You don't need to know code if you don't want to. It helps if you do because there's a lot more things you can do with code, but
Yep.
And then
it's
also the
nice.
the templates on there are just beautiful. The mobile site. Oh, don't get me started on the mobile site. Mobile site just looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Our website, iTechTriad.com, it just looks great on mobile devices, and that's thanks to Squarespace. Because when we were using webs, you had to actually you had to it was a different editor for the mobile and the actual website, and the mobile just looked like a really bad app. Is what
Yeah, it
it
looks
looked
like a
like.
bad attempt at an iOS app.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. So definitely suggest using Squarespace if you're wanting to do for anything you really want to do, not just technology. If you've got any business, anything you want to pursue as a website, definitely check out Squarespace. And they are not sponsoring this, so
Yet, one
yet,
day, one
yeah,
day.
one day, Squarespace. Okay, next question. Do we have any more?
I'm trying to find one
We
that
gotta have one more.
Andrew
It's
could
gotta be a
answer,
funny
but
one.
I'll.
Come on, someone's got to be
Hmm.
asking how to turn on a phone or
No, I don't have any of those yet.
how to play Flappy Birds.
No, I haven't had that. Definitely not had that.
Well, they won't be
Um,
asking that anymore.
No, doo.
no. Well, they could be asking, which iPhone should I buy off of eBay that still has it installed?
For $90,000.
You can buy mine. My sister has an iPhone 5C. I'll sell it to you for the low price of $99,000. You got a heck of a deal
Yeah.
there. So okay, so I guess that's it for the questions.
Yeah, we'll save some more for upcoming video on the channel one day.
Oh, you're holding out on us. Okay. Main topic.
Oh, we've got plenty more.
Oh, we do.
I'll save them for the future, though.
Uh-oh, I see. He's conserving them. So we're going to go on now to our main topic. We talked about this last week. We ended it last week, and we're going to continue it this week. Actually, no, we didn't. We did not actually start it next week. Excuse me. Last
we'll
week.
start it this week, then.
We're starting
very close.
We were very close to starting it. That is Apple versus, or iOS versus Android applications. Now, this is going to be interesting because, Andrew, you have always used iOS. I use iOS and Android, and Ben has only used Android. So, gentlemen, let us begin. Who wants to start off first on why they feel iOS might be better in applications, why they feel Android might be better in applications? This is just going to be fun. So, who wants to start off first? Who wants to be first to bat?
Well, let's let you start off first since you've used them both. You give us your opinion, and we can, I guess, rebut.
This is going to be fun. Okay. So I was talking to Ben about this the other day. Now, this is nothing against Android in any way, but app developers for Android need to get their junk together. And they are. They slowly are. But it's just like, that's the one thing I miss about iOS. Really, it's one of the only things I miss about iOS is the very well developed apps. They're polished. They're beautiful. They're just the user interface is it's just awesome. It makes using those applications such an experience. And really, that's one of the things I feel, and maybe one of the only things that keeps Apple going is their developers. Because it's a one-of-a-kind experience. And that's something I feel that lacks with Android. Is it Android's fault? No. It's really developers. Now, of course, I feel Google needs to crack down on these developers and tell them, look, you need to develop better-looking apps. They need to set a standard. And I'm not talking about your third-party developers. I'm talking about Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Even the big ones, too.
Yes,
They're kind of holding out.
They are, because I mean, if you look at Instagram on iOS, it's just no good. I mean, excuse me, on Android. Excuse me, take that back. On Android, Instagram on Android is just, it needed an update. The only way we got it was a developer who's not even from Instagram developed to the side, basically a way that we could sideload Instagram, and which we did a video on. But it's like. And that's how I feel. I personally feel they need to really start developing good-looking apps. Like, for example, I wanted to say Pages again. We were talking about this earlier. Paper for iOS. Beautifully developed application. I have yet to see an app like that on Android. They're slowly getting there. I got to say one of my favorites is probably Twitter did a great job with their application. I'm using an SMS app called Hello SMS, which is great as well. I'm trying to think of other really good, well-developed apps.
Pocket Casts is one of my favorite applications.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yes. I've been actually using that app a whole lot, listening to podcasts. And that's another great developed app. Flappy Birds was... No, I'm joking. I just had to... Flappy Birds. Beautiful. Carbon. That was another well-developed app.
Carbon was good. Of course, you can't really use that anymore because they ran out of Twitter. I think the tokens they're called. Here's one very different app. Not a lot of people use it. I still use it all the time. Timely. Got a lot of hype when it first released. It's an alarm clock app. And it is, honestly, I think it is it's probably one of the best-looking apps I've ever seen on any mobile platform.
Yeah, it's probably not like a big company either.
But it was actually such a good designed app. Google bought the company.
Nice.
So that can kind of tell you where Google wants to go with apps in the future. These guys are really good.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I guess I don't know about you guys. I feel Google has to crack down on these developers, because I mean it's kind of sad when the Google Plus app on iOS looks better than the Google Plus app
On
on
Google.
Android. Yeah,
On
on
Google
Android.
software.
That's like iMessages looking better on Android than it does on iOS. Of course, iMessages isn't on Android, but if it was, imagine if it was better developed than it was on iOS.
That'd be interesting.
Right? It's like I can kind of see there was also someone had mentioned the reasoning of maybe Google is trying to win over iOS users by making a well-developed app for Google, but come on,
Yeah.
you got to reward your Android users as well.
I think another thing is, it may be because this is still the truth that more people use Apple devices. It's just the facts, I guess.
Okay,
It's
I gotta
it's
correct you
getting.
there. I gotta correct you there. There are not more people who use Apple devices.
Uh-oh.
All right, maybe not.
There's
I don't know.
actually,
Last I saw.
I'll just put it this
Uh-oh.
way: there are about 1 billion people who use Android phones and tablets, and not even half of that for Apple.
Maybe.
I gotta say that because
Okay,
I don't want to
yeah,
make anyone
I'll
think
accept it.
that
I'll
Apple
accept
has
it.
more.
I have to say
Well,
this though.
it may
Those
be.
billion of people are lost. You already know where I'm going with that. You already know where I'm going with that. What is Google Plus? How do I use it?
Awesome.
I had to throw that in there. I'm sorry. But continue, Ben. What were you saying?
No, look. Before we got off track with the whole Google Plus, and for listeners, this is what we were discussing before we actually started the podcast. We're having a lot of fun, bashing different programs.
I know pretty much just Google Plus.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll even out the playing field. Let's say different programs.
Not
No,
dropping
but
names. YouTube.
no, but like I was trying to say, but Apple maybe they think they want to win back all those Android users, so they're really cracking down on the developers. And dude, Apple developers get paid more? Or is it like
You know what I think it really is, and I've heard this before. If you look at iOS developers, they only have to deal with the fact of they have a 4-inch display and a 3.5-inch display.
I love how he was about to say 4-point-something inches.
Yeah, I was ready to say 4.5 because of the boomers, but Android developers have to deal with 3.5, 4.0, 4.5, 4.8, 4.9, 5.0, 5.5, 5.8,
that's
6.0.
also a really good point.
But it's just like, I mean, I'm not a developer, so I can't say, but something's eventually got to give, and they've got to start cracking down on it. Because it's just like, I've used some Android apps, and I'm like, this is just ugly and disgusting. It makes me want to just, it's just like you saw something vulgar. It's like, ew. You want to just throw your phone and not pick it up. Where I pick up an iPhone, I look at apps like Papers, Instagram, Google Plus, Facebook, Twitter. I'm trying
YouTube.
to YouTube. Yeah, here we go, YouTube. And it's like, man, these are some well-developed apps. Man, this is beautiful. Papers. And it's like, wow.
I've yet to try it. I should.
It's beautiful. And look how bad this is. I used it on an iPad, not even using up all my screen space, because of course you know how when they put iPhone apps on an iPad, Andrew,
zoom in,
and it was still a beautifully developed app. I was like, wow, and I wasn't even using it on an iPhone. But I guess it's one of those things that eventually time, and they're getting better. I have to say, Android is getting much better.
Yeah.
With the way they develop their apps, so I'll
definitely
give them
that.
props for that. I guess now this year we'll be seeing better developed apps for tablets. So I don't know, Ben. I haven't heard you say much. I'm surprised. What's going on? I'm kind of scared in a way, though.
My family is in the background making a lot of noise. I gotta go tell them to be quiet for a second. So I'll be right back.
Well, while we wait for Ben, we can continue bashing Google Plus. I kind of want to. Yes, I'm sorry, I have to.
Okay, look. Historical background for again the listeners. What was happening? We're trying to figure out new options for podcasts, and we decided to go with a Google kind of through YouTube. So we were gonna do a different way, and it was pretty confusing. Alex was making a joke earlier. He was like, how many tech writers and tech reviewers does it take to figure out how to make a YouTube account and set that?
And you're starting
it
that
takes
again.
3.
It takes
takes 3.
5. It takes
You wait till I
it takes 5.
you wait till I leave to start talking about that.
We were not talking about Google Plus in any way whatsoever. Google Plus is like an old Alzheimer's grandmother stuck in a nursing home. It's lost and confusing.
But I do like it, honestly. I do like the layout of it. It's just a little confusing sometimes, but it's a good idea. I like it. Anyways,
Yeah, it's
my opinions.
It's still got some work. Yep. Oh my
Everything
gosh,
does.
I can only imagine Google Plus users right now like, no, it's not. I'm about to start trolling them. If you want to hit me up on Twitter regarding this whole shenanigans with Google Plus, let me just give me 1 second here. Don't hold on. If you got a pen and paper out, I'm gonna give you my my Twitter now.
They can pause it, right?
No, they're gonna want.
Yes.
Look.
It's a podcast at Suits and Tech.
No, it's not. It's not at Syntax. It's at Chaos Romero.
Hey,
Hit me up on there. Tell me why.
Hold up, no,
How
stop.
angry you are.
That's mine. Don't tell me how angry you are. Follow me, yes, follow me. But don't tell me how angry you are. His is at Suits and Tech, yes?
Yes,
That's it.
suits are cool.
Get, they are.
Bow ties are cool.
Bow ties are very cool. Fantastic. Anyway,
Yeah.
we
Alright.
completely we just went attention deficit disorder and went somewhere completely off the track. But
Look, if you
This
get
is
bored in the
happens when
middle
I
of it, if you get bored in the middle of it, skip to what is it, minute 53,
I don't know.
and you'll have.
I don't think they'd be able to. The YouTube layout pile will switch by then. Anyway,
Okay, moving on.
moving on. Ben, I'm kind of scared to see what you have to say regarding Android apps versus iOS apps. Take it away.
Well, I mean, if you want to keep going on that, I kind of thought you guys finished while I was gone. But anyway,
I mean, we could finish this right here, right now.
there are Android apps that look very nice. There are some that look very bad. There are Apple apps that look very nice. There are Apple apps that look very bad. The reason why there are many more Apple apps that look very good is because Apple has very strict regulation in getting apps into the store.
Yeah.
So you're not going to find one of their bad apps that's not going to be one of the ones that's shown off the bat. On the Google Play Store, any app you submit, basically they're going to scan it for a virus. They're going to check to make sure it doesn't do anything it shouldn't. And then they're going to approve it. They're not going to check the way it looks.
They need
Yep.
to.
Well, they can't do. Why would they do that? If you're an app developer, you spend a month making an app, and it doesn't look great,
Because
but it does
they're
what
going
you
to be
want
the
it to
next
do.
Walmart. They're going to be the next Walmart. Because
But,
honestly,
but seriously, think about it. If you developed an app, yes, it doesn't look great, but it gets the job done, and say it does this unique thing that no one else's app does.
Like cook you a pancake.
I don't care if the app doesn't look great if it does what I need it to do. Yes, I
True.
want it to look better,
There's-
but I
there's
don't
a way-
need it to.
there's a way, though, that they can crack down on it, not to the point of where it's so bad. I'm going back to the Walmart expression here. It's like one of
Well-
Walmart's worst dressed. You know, they can kind of say, look, no shoes, no shirt, no service. At least put on shoots. That's a new type of wardrobe. Put on shirts and shoes. And what I'm saying is, kind of talking app talk here, make the app look a little bit decent. I mean, I'm talking about some apps that's just like, why is this even there? Because it's the fact of that whatever they're trying to get across with their app, whatever idea or service, you can't even do anything with it because the app looks so bad. It's just like you look at it and you delete it. That's what I mean. I don't mean so much to the fact of, because I feel for third-party developers, like for example when we got our app up. But for example, Ben, our app actually looked pretty decent in a way compared to other apps I've seen in the Android and Google Play. So it's like, I guess.
Well, Actually, let me put it. Let me put it this way: the speed test app. Do you remember the way it used to look on Android?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't look good at all.
It
Now it
look,
looks great,
yeah, it
but it was
still
the
looked
only app at
good.
its time.
Yeah,
It
it
looked
still,
okay.
yeah.
I don't think it looked
Yeah,
very good,
Alex,
but
so be patient.
I mean,
Gosh.
yeah.
I'm just saying it didn't
Not
look.
everyone can design a perfect app
Yeah.
because maybe they don't have the resources, maybe they don't have the money, maybe they don't have the time.
It's definitely
But
expensive.
if it does what it needs to do, and it's the only app out there that does that,
Hmm.
then I'm going to accept a not very good looking interface if it's usable. I'm thinking of Tasker. For years, Tasker looked horrible. Now it looks, it looks decent. It's still a very hard app to use if you've never used it, but it looks really good now. It didn't look good in the past, but people still loved it. It was still actually one of the top selling apps in the App Store or Google Play because it looked that good. I mean, not that it looked good. It worked that good.
Hmm.
It's just one of those apps.
Hmm.
The top app in the Play Store right now, well, one of the top apps is called Titanium Backup.
Hmm.
Horrible interface. I hate the interface, but it's the only app that does what it does, and it
Exactly.
is a great app.
Hmm.
Facebook is the top free app in the store.
It,
It looks terrible, but it's
on
the only one that does what it does.
exactly though, that's where Google needs to
Yes.
step down and say,
Yes,
look,
I
Facebook,
agree.
you need to get it together. And
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like, they should leave freedom for the more third-party developers, but I specifically think Google should have a certain department team, whatever you want to call it, that gets on the case of these huge companies, Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook. Um,
Because it can make them look bad too.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly. It can because the number one argument you will see from an Apple fanboy versus Android is like, oh, your Instagram app looks ugly. Your Facebook app looks ugly. I can't post a picture of my Starbucks cup on Android. Sorry, I had to say that. But what
That
I'm
was
saying is,
hysterical.
yeah, I'm so mean. I'm sorry, Apple listeners. But what I'm saying is that they need to crack down on these big companies because these big companies got money like crazy that they can develop a heck of an app. But if you let them develop a pretty junky looking app, they'll just put it up there because that's the only one that's going to get people on Facebook. So people will download it and they're just like, well, just put it together and throw it up. But if Google says, hey, if you don't fix this app, it's not going up, I guarantee you Facebook would make a pretty darn looking, good looking application for Android.
either that or sue them.
Yeah, that's probably one reason why they don't do that, but we'll see what happens.
I don't think Facebook would
Yep.
win a lawsuit with Google. Facebook,
No,
But
come on, that's
message
like
to the
Facebook would
mess-
just keep poking them.
it would be.
message to the
I was about to say
third-party
with a cane.
developers, real
Mhm.
quick. Message to the third-party developers: keep doing what you're doing. Takes time, especially some of us. It's expensive too.
Yes.
I mean, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. But I've seen some third-party apps that are wonderful.
Yes. Mhm.
But just keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and we don't
'cause-
discourage it either.
Yeah, some of us are kind of like just sick of the big name apps. We
Mhm.
kind of want to see little developers get up there and because I've seen some top apps that are, third party, and that's great to see. But just that message, keep
Yeah,
it
because
up.
I mean, the Instagram app that we showed our viewers how to install on Android devices with that was optimized for KitKat, that was not made by Instagram, and that was beautiful looking app. Remember, Ben, when you
Mhm.
downloaded, you were like, wow, that wasn't even made by Instagram. So it's like the developers have the means to get it done, but they don't because Google needs to crack down on these big companies. And like Andrew, you were saying before, we don't discourage the third-party app developers. Keep doing what you're doing. It's these big companies like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter that they can, I'm not going to even put can, they can make a good application. They just don't because they really don't have to. So that's, I think,
I'll
one of the
say some
biggest
of the
things.
big ones that do make good apps are Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix has their app hasn't been good in the past. It's getting a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I think here Skype, not bad, not great, but it's not bad. Let me think. Who else has a
Speed
really
test.
good app?
The speed
Speed
test
test, they did
feed.
a really nice job. the Weather Channel, when they redesigned theirs a while back, that was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
It is a nice looking app.
I'm trying to think. Google Plus, of course, and that's
Well,
Google.
but I mean that's a Google app. I'm
Yeah.
trying to not talk about those, but if I did, I would. But going back to the third-party apps,
Mm-hmm.
one of the apps I really do want to kind of talk about really quick is Action Launcher. If you've never
Mhm.
heard of Action Launcher, you must be living under a rock or something, because it is one of the best third-party home screen launchers out there. It is a very unique home screen launcher because it has what the developer calls a quick drawer, which is kind of like the swipe. It's kind of like the menu tray that you would see in apps like Google Play and Google Plus and a lot of the other Google apps. And that's your app drawer. It's just a well-designed app. It is definitely is a very very good description of what a third-party developer can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was another beautifully developed app. So it's and that's the thing though. That's the sad part though is when your third party and nothing against our when your third party developers are showing up these big companies, that says a lot because these third party
Mhm.
developers like Andrew saying might not have the funds or the means, but when they get it done, I'm clapping my hands, but I'm also like, what is going on? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm not gonna even because I can't even think because the list just continues on and on. But what's going on? Why aren't we seeing a well-developed app like this third-party developer just developed? So it's one of those things that
Mhm.
hopefully
And
with time will be
it's
fixed.
it's such an important thing to get that moving for these companies because people they're straying, not a lot of people, but it seems like a lot of people are straying away from PC into mobile, and that's what they're looking at. And when they're checking Twitter, Instagram, Google Plus, I mean whatever, they're looking at that and they're seeing, that's what they're first seeing. So I mean it's an important thing to kind of just keep up the good look that some of these other apps have.
Because really, honestly, if you when you think about it, these apps they are the reason why. Because if you think about it, if Android had nothing but horribly developed apps, a lot of people would not be using Android. If you really think about it, because why do we use
Mhm.
our phones for? Applications. We get on our phone to make phone calls, but everything we use is an application. The camera app, the phone app, the mail app, the browser app, music app. So applications have a lot to do with how the OS will go. You know what I mean? I think that's the only thing going back that has held iOS. Because if iOS had horribly developed apps, Apple would be done. They honestly would because there's no customization to iOS really. Not even
Mhm.
really. There's really no customization. So the only thing
Except
that
for
keeps
wallpaper.
except your wallpaper, and it can kind of move now. But that's the only thing though. If Apple had horribly developed
Oh!
apps, they'd be done.
Speaking of third-party developers, there was a third-party developer who created that effect on Android devices way, way, way before Apple probably even thought of iOS 7. It's been on the Play
Mhm.
Store for a long time.
There goes power to the
So
third-party developers.
third-party developers know what they're doing. Honestly, I think this XDA developer who created this Instagram app, Instagram should just buy it from him.
That's what I was about to say. They should take the third-party developers, some of them, and just give them good-paying jobs and let them take over because they would probably take Android to new levels that just would be amazing. Because that's really the only thing I feel lacking from Android is the well-developed apps. That's the only thing I miss about iOS. Like I'm dying to use that app Papers. I would love to use it on my Android device. I can't because Facebook hasn't come out with one on Android yet. And that's the thing though. That's why maybe a lot of the times you see developers favor iOS is because the apps just look stinking awesome on iOS. So like we're gonna put out our best app first. We don't really have to
And
put
then
out
I
that good
think
of an app for Android.
the other reason why they develop on iOS first is because they make more money.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, so.
That's one of those things that's just like,
But anyway, we have gone way, way over time.
wait,
So-
before we go, our teaser.
So, yes, next week we're gonna talk about Android skins like TouchWiz and Sense versus stock Android.
Or cyanogen mod.
Or-
Why?
well, no,
Why do people want to group them?
We're gonna leave that as a different part of the topic. But anyway, it's gonna be Android skins versus stock Android. What are the benefits? What are the losses? On
Yep.
and on and on. We'll figure out more about that as the week goes.
That's why I went from my HTC Sense to stock, because there's reasons, and we're gonna talk about those reasons next week. So that is our episode of iTechTriad Live. Now you're probably wondering why iTechTriad Live. That's what we're gonna be naming these from now on, because the beginnings were kind of tough, right, guys? It took me 5 minutes to finally get the intro down. So iTechTriad Live. This was our episode.
And I wish I would have saved those. I might put some outtakes at the end of this.
Okay, here are some funny outtakes in which we will be bashing Google Plus, because I'm going to do that as soon as I'm done here. Thank you for listening.
I did not record that.
Oh, you will be recording this. Thank you for listening to iTechTriad Live. I'm Alex, your host. We got Ben.
And
Yes.
Drew. I was waiting to see if you were there.
Yes,
He's
I'm
got
here.
Why do you have a picture of a burrito on your icon? I'm looking at a burrito right now. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in our next podcast. Welcome, everyone, to our... What number podcast is this?